both can act as reducing agent, but when they combine with each other, like the carbon number 1 has OH and the carbon number 2 has OH of glucose and fructose respectively, so these will eliminate the water molecule and there comes the oxygen. So only oxygen will be remaining at this part. Only oxygen will be remaining at this part and it will look like hello Bandhugan, Namaskar and welcome back to my YouTube channel Sahil Educations. Today we'll be discussing about the reducing and non-reducing sugar. We all know that what is reducing, what is oxidizing, what is reduction, what is oxidation. In terms of oxygen, if you donate someone oxygen, that means you are going to oxidize someone or oxidize something. In terms of hydrogen, if you donate hydrogen, then you are going to reduce that element or reduce that compound. When you receive oxygen, that means you are being oxidized and that compound is being reduced. If you receive hydrogen from something or someone, then you are going to be reduced and the compound which is going to provide you the hydrogen, that will be oxidized in this case. So let's start with the valencies first, because you have to go through the valency, you have to know about the valency of different molecules, different atoms. So not molecules exactly, different atoms. Okay, let's start. So copper has a valency 1 or 2, oxygen has a valency 2, carbon has a valency 4. What is valency basically? Basically valency means that the atom, whether it is carbon, oxygen, copper or anything else, will receive the number of electrons to fulfill its octet, to make a particular bond. Okay, so let's see here, this one is oxygen. Oxygen has a valency 2 and after taking 2 electrons from copper, it is going to fulfill its 8 electron in the outermost cell. So there were two electrons, then 2 electrons, this is 4 electrons, 5, 6, 7 and 8 electrons are here for oxygen. If you consider the copper, then copper must take two electrons from someone to make a bond. So copper has 2 electrons here and the oxygen is providing 2 electrons. So the copper, its valency, the valency of copper is 2 in this case. Now we are not going to discuss about the chemistry basically, so we'll switch into the reducing and non-reducing property of our carbohydrate. So free functional groups of sugar molecule makes it reducing sugar. Whenever you have a free functional group, whether it is aldehyde or ketone, basically we have aldose or ketose sugars. So when the aldehyde is as functional group, this could be the reducing sugar. If ketone is there as a functional group, this could also be a reducing sugar. The condition is you have to have a free aldehyde or ketone group. Just like sucrose, sucrose do not have a free aldehyde or ketone group, whereas the glucose, whereas fructose, whereas galactose, anything else, whatever you consider, whatever 6 carbon or 7 carbon compound you consider, it has a reducing property if the aldehyde and ketone groups are free in that compound. If the aldehyde and ketone groups are not free, then the compound will not be reducing in any case. So let's see, this one is the structure of glucose having aldehyde group at this part. This one is the carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the carbon number 1 has aldehyde group, and now add copper cupric oxide. Cupric oxide is CuO. Okay, after adding this cupric oxide, just see that the carbon number 1 has received one more oxygen from this cupric oxide, and hence this compound has been oxidized and the cupric oxide has been reduced to cuprous oxide. So here you can see, or you can say that glucose is acting as a reducing agent. It is reducing the cupric oxide to cuprous oxide, and it is being itself oxidized to make an acid. So this one is basically COOH. So this is acid. Okay, let's see how sucrose is not a reducing sugar. So here we have drawn that this one is the glucose Haworth projection, this one is the glucose Fischer projection. Now talking about fructose, this one is the Haworth projection of fructose and this one is the Fischer projection of fructose. Excuse me. Let's see. This is the aldehyde group present in carbon number 1 and this one is the ketone group present in carbon number 2 for glucose and fructose respectively. So in this Fischer projection, the aldehyde and ketone groups are free. That is why you can say that this glucose and fructose both can act as reducing agent. But when they combine with each other, like the carbon number 1 has OH and the carbon number 2 has OH of glucose and fructose respectively. So these will eliminate the water molecule and there comes the oxygen. So only oxygen will be remaining at this part. Only oxygen will be remaining at this part and it will look like this. So this one is the glycosidic bond between glucose and fructose, making it all together sucrose. As the sucrose molecule do not have free aldehyde and ketone group, that is why you can say that sucrose is a non-reducing sugar, whereas glucose and fructose is a reducing sugar. There comes a question in your syllabus that the 100 glucose are combined together in a long chain and the right end of the glucose chain, the right end of the homopolysaccharide basically is the reducing end and left end is non-reducing end. Why?